A fourth person. Really? Ha! This year again, your fourth person doesn't exist! Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. A perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less. Do you remember? What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about? Sorry. Remember what I said. Therefore, the person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color of the backs of the cards. Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used in the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? Can you guys remember? It's not me, I swear! Who is this fourth person? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Because the game makes you do that, or makes us do that, or whatever. Let's hear what the fence has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? Well, there's only 5 choices, and we know that Phoenix and Olga aren't because, well, they were in the game. And Smith is dead because he's on the courtroom right now, so it's either Payne or Kristoff, logically. But since Payne says it's not him, let's just not say it's Payne. But it's Kristoff. You'll find out why. As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. Well, that's very nice. I was right. Kristoff Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards! How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. Maybe it's good to have black and white crime pictures, I don't know. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colors in this photograph! Black. Yes, but when he said that the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor. Competition? Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions! Only the cards, their backs, wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. You remember me talking so passionately? Yeah. Do you remember now? Like part 1, I think. Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin! Is there something the matter? Huh? No, nothing. Excuse me. It was just so sudden. Right? You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff? You know even I never take a joke this far. You mean he jokes around? This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity! The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. Sure you are. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mrs. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met! Well, what if they have? Huh? There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was saying staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. That's right, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court.
Objection!
The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happen before the game of poker be related? I feel uneasy. I'm not sure I follow Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly... Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Gulp. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? I'm sorry, Kristoff, but let's hear the testimony. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along, and I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testifies to this court, to the court. Blah. A2 Justice? You would betray me? Your teacher? That's a reference to Shakespeare, one of his plays. I forgot which one. I'm sorry, Miss Gavin. This is about loyalty. This is about the truth. Gavel. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Appetite before murder. That evening, Miss Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at a table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Crystal left. When the trap failed, Mrs. Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming down from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Mr. Gavin! You were at the Borscht Bowls Club the night of the murder? I doubt him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, right? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then. And now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Very well. The resume crosses down the witness. I feel like it's really stuffy right now. Justice? Sir! He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Because the game won't let you! The source code won't let you. Whatever. What did you see? Let's press him. To say, you had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he does that. He dives with me at the Borscht Bowls Club quite frequently. We were enjoying as usual dinner at our usual spot. As usual. Usual. I always get at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mrs. Smith was sitting. So the plates were and such on the table were from your dinner? Indeed. The remnants of my meals with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that... Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. 5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed him from a restaurant during that time? That would have been a faithful encounter, to be sure. Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Kristoff, Gavin, and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Yeah, I was all nervous about this meeting, and now we hear they just passed in the hall! That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Oh, it would be if that was all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? When the trap fails, Smith hit the waitress. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga O'Reilly mentioned. The plan was simple, elegant, ready. You say we set up a trap of sorts. I was plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When the hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card, and the traps will snap shut. I don't know where the heck I got that voice, but whatever. You swap the cards. Or the guy should be saying that. The victim should have said that. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. That was just terrible voice. What's a flashback? I just want to liven things up a bit, okay? Yes, a harmless prank in a sense. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to pull out my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted! Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. Yeah, he always put his hands in his pockets, so it seems. So Olga should know that he puts his quirk is put his hand in his pocket. So that was a poor place to put it. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice? The murder weapon! Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. Shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. Card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of the special wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information. Let's go to the shop during the game and dispose of the card in the bottle. Let's check it. The bottle is completely empty. That's weird. Can I yell objection? Objection! Objection! Yay! Okay, whatever. Mr. Wright, if I may? Yes? I've examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No? But, Mr. Wright, surely isn't all you had to say for yourself? How is that like you, Connor? Surely isn't all you had to say for yourself? I don't know. Sounds really weird. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out? Oh, and a 6th person could have helped? Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid the decisive contradiction call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him! It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO! We don't want to knock him out. Ugh, why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? I feel sick. Oh. That even person I didn't say silence. So the girl was knocked out, cold, Miss Smith was uncontrollable, I left to call the police. You made the card to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at the time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night, after all. So, there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. And when you returned, the victim was already dead. Yes, I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. Well, I would be too. Little. Maybe a little is a bit little. Too much, or too little. A little is too little. He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. That's when I made another phone call to the defense attorney, Gavin. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I honestly got involved in a rather sticky affair, and I figured Kristoff's law office would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Cheap. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved, after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him. Now. Yes, sir. I have to think, what's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with this testimony? The truth has to be in there somewhere. Aren't they good friends? I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? What am I doing? No, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. See? If this is what he looks like, how would he know it was a bloodstream? I don't know. I'm just... Objection! Object this. Miss Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. That's all you can say. Good point. Justice! Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. You put the hat on the dead man's head? He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, the head was in full view. Shine bright, just like in this photograph. And I picked his hat up off the floor, and put it on his head. Why'd you do such a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene.